Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? This is Dionne Williams. How are you? With another edition of Emerge Design Talk. I am the creator and producer of the Emerge Fashion Show, which takes place during New York Fashion Week every February and September. And I started the Emerge Design Talk series to interview and showcase icons in the fashion industry. I have interviewed some of the most iconic names in fashion, which I'm always so excited. And today is no different. But first, I would like for you to follow us on Instagram at EmergeNYFW, and then also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Emerge Fashion Show NYFW, where you can see all the interviews. But today, I am super excited about our icon today, Mr. Ty Hunter. He is the celebrity and legendary, iconic celebrity stylist who has created some of the most memorable looks in entertainment history. And he is the sweetest, nicest person, humblest I have ever known. I'm going to bring him on board, Mr. Ty Hunter.
Hey,
Oh my God. Hi, Ty. How are you?
good. You look absolutely amazing. I-
Thank you. I lost a few pounds.
You look great. I love how you
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you so much because I know you are terribly busy
always.
in between work schedule.
I'm always gonna make time for you, though.
But I want to thank you so much. So I met Ty several years ago in New York, and he is the most nicest person. You have actually you were did an interview session with me during in New York during Fashion Week for Emerge, and Pat Cleveland was on the panel. It was just you are so it was so good. But you've always supported Emerge Fashion Show and what it stands for supporting emerging designers and creatives. So thank you for that.
Thank you for again. Like I said, whenever they say it's you, I'm gonna always.
Thank you. So I want to get started. We always talk to the icons about how they got started. So tell me where did you grow up? Like where did you get started?
I grew up in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and I went to school, the Art Institute for Music Video. I thought I wanted to be Timberland or something, or for real at the moment. Don't ask me to get on the mixing board. I wouldn't know what to do because I didn't want to go. I wanted to go for fashion, but at the time, I didn't want to be labeled gay. I was fighting all those demons and stuff.
Mhm.
So I became friends with a lot of the fashion house people, the people in school, and I thought they were the cool kids, but I still was fronting and going to school for music video. I ended up realizing that's not what I wanted to do. I quit, moved back to Austin, Texas from Dallas, Texas, and I started working for a company called Carbometics. And I used to sit under a microscope and work on artificial heart valves, believe it or not.
Oh, what?
Yes, I used to sit under the microscope, work on artificial heart valves, and I made really good money. Um, and I just realized after years of being there, I found out one of my really good friends had a heart valve, and it just kind of messed everything up. Even though I knew I was making these, for human consumption and just working
Mhm.
on humans, but when it hit close to home, it became a place that I dreaded because my numbers went down and everything. And at the time, the president had family leave where you could leave your job. It wasn't guaranteed, but I went and made up a story and talked to my boss and was like, I'm going through a lot of family issues. Can I, take a month off?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was like, Ty, we love you here. Of course, just go work out your family stuff. Your job will be here. And
Yeah.
I called my cousin who lived in Houston, Texas at the time. And I was like, can I come stay with you for a month? Because I was at that point just trying to figure out life. I was very unhappy, very depressed. And I just knew that I was more than that. Not saying it was a bad thing. I just knew that wasn't my passion. That wasn't my goal. That was just a step. And a lot of there for years and, retiring from there. And I'm just like, this isn't my journey. And I up and moved to Houston, Texas. And
Oh.
I realized this is where I'm supposed to be because Austin was very needed more culture. I needed more. I felt like Houston at the time was like a little small mini New York. It was just a melting pots of different cultures, and I just fell in love with it. And I knew I didn't want to leave there. And I started doing window dressing and visuals for different.
Yeah.
And in the process, I met Miss Tina, Beyonce's mom, and the girls had No 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 on the radio. It was like neighborhood superstars. It was just popping, and me and Miss Tina just connected, being that my mom was another 4 hours away in Austin, Texas. So she just kind of became my other mother, and I kind of would help her, when things happen. I think they lost their luggage once for the dancers, and I helped her through that scenario. And when things came in that looked like the girls, I would contact her. So she kind of became like a client. And after years of just working, as I elevated, they elevated. I started at a store called Booyaka that was really cheap and expensive. They had like the Aaliyah and Monica skirts with the high slits on the side, the
Yeah.
spandex, and just really inexpensive like spandex that you can mix with higher end. And she would come there all the time, and then I started working at the Guest store, and then that's when the colorful denim came out. So she would come, and I would help her, and then I started working for the cream of the crop BB, which was like the store at the time. And working at BB, I met so many wonderful people, and like I said, that was just a place that I would go to the club and they'd be like, "We got the people from BB that work here." Like it was like the place in Austin. I mean, in Houston at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
and just helping her with that. And the one day they were filming them with the day in the life of Destiny's Child, and they came in and she said, "I'm gonna get you out of here one day." And I didn't believe her, but I had a day off. And I called her and I was like, "Hi, Miss Tina. I'm just saying if you need any help today." And I needed that rest because at that point I was working there and TJ Maxx. And at that
Mhm.
point, I'm a young parent at the time. My
Yeah.
daughter was born. And so it was just all of that and just like hustling, just trying to make money to make ends meet. And I went ahead and called her on this day off, and the rest is history. I immediately started working on the Survivor video and the Grammys that
Oh
year.
my gosh. So immediately
Yeah,
you start working on major projects.
yep. And this all happened like at the end of 1999.
Oh my gosh. So when you start your first client coming out as a style, did you know you wanted to be like this is what you wanted to do
Well,
as
I've always been have that like I've always been into fashion. I would get best dressed in school,
yeah.
work on different projects, and like people would pay me back then when I was young to go school shopping for them. Like, and so I always had it in me, but I never thought of it in the big picture. You know what I mean? So for God to place me somewhere to use all of my gifts was such a blessing, and the answer of all of what's next. That was at 27. So that's why I always tell people just keep pushing. You just quit looking at the age because your time
Yeah.
come. You just got to get prepared for it.
So what happened when you start working with Destiny's Child, like what was the schedule? Like what's your process in like creating looks? Like is it this is what the event is and this is our idea
It's
concept?
crazy. It was like thrown in fire. It just it was such a process, and back then they were so hot to where everything just happened so fast. Like, and,
Yeah.
and that was the good old days before YouTube and all that, where you
Yeah.
could kind of say, okay, you're going to wear this in Europe and we're going to wear this again
Yeah.
somewhere else. Those days are done, Um, but yeah, it was a process. It just depends on the timing. A lot of times we didn't have a lot of time, but if we had time, it's having meetings and kind of going over what they want to feel like. Do you want this to be angelic? Do you want this to be sexy? Like what and you just meet them halfway.
Oh my goodness. So what like how do you like for like now that you've been in it for a while, how do you plan and create the concept for your clients? Like what's the day of life of a stylist? Like right now you're in between jobs. Like but how do you start when you first start out like with a client and how what the look is gonna be?
Well, I just kind of with Billy, I just kind of go and look for whatever is like,
You're talking about Billy Porter, right?
but yeah, I just out there. Like Billy, I kind of compare it like when I was styling salons. You kind of just go and get where's the stuff that nobody's getting? Where's the
Yeah.
stuff that right?
Yeah.
Like, and you just kind of go from there. And they have that fire and spunk to just make it all make sense and carry the way they carry garments with no fear. That's what I liked about working with him. But again, it's just a process of you kind of go, what is the event? you
Yeah.
know, food, and kind of build from that. If it's a performance in there, then you're like, okay, the song, and can I see the stage, or is it a red carpet? No, it's a green carpet. So you kind of just want to kind of get as much of how the setting is going to be and kind of build from that.
Okay, so back in the early 2000s when you're working with Destiny's Child and Beyoncé, what's some of your best looks like back in the early days and then the later days?
I just feel like at that time, a lot of, it's so crazy because now you see a lot of the things that Miss Tina designed back then. A lot of people weren't trying
Mhm.
it in the beginning because
Yeah.
it was during the time where girls were dressing like boys. The girls are wearing like
Mhm.
boy
Yeah.
stuff, the look, and
Yeah.
Tina wanted to bring an old Hollywood glamour back to everything. So they were labeled the Young Supreme. So everything we did was a little, you know, we wanted to do everything a little bit more polished, upscale,
Okay.
like glamorous, old Hollywood glamour. Um, yeah, that was pretty much how things went back then.
So some of the Met Gala looks, the Oscar looks or the Grammy looks, anything in particular? Or you all did so many, you probably don't even remember.
But I just like whenever we were able to just strip down, like from the all the glamour. Like I always say, like one of my favorite look is being the tank top with the jean shorts and the red pump and Crazy in Love, because it was just like you were always so this to where when you came down. To something that the young girls can emulate. I like those moments. Like irreplaceable. It just all depends.
Yeah.
Many, but I would definitely have to say when it was less pressure and less stress was like some of my iconic moments. And of course, Beyonce's first album cover with the this pose is
Yeah.
still so iconic and timeless. And I just like to do things that are timeless.
Yeah, you have. So how is it working? No, let's give it the Met Gala, like because it's weird fashion here. How was back then, doing the Met Gala, that process? And you were one of the first stylists that would go on the red carpet. So
Yeah.
what was that time?
Raquel Smith, who you also know, who worked with me during that time, we would just like have meetings with designers and start a whole process of getting sketches, and then kind of sniffing through that and see what we like before we even show B, and then we'll show her. And then the thing was just to see who can make these beautiful pictures come to life and make it all make sense. We Ricardo from Givenchy, during that time, we did a lot of things together. He was kind of the one that just got it a lot of times. And it was just a cool process because we normally had time with that, and we normally didn't ever have time. So we really had time. When you have time, you can really get it down to precisely how it's going to be. So that was a good thing. And the reason why I was the first stylist because I just always felt like a woman should not have this long train, a gown with a long train, and like these pictures
And
ever. And I just feel like when I'm doing a job, I want to ride it all the way through. I can't just be like, okay, I'm done with my part. You go. You know
yeah,
what
yeah,
ever. So I always would go out there and just make sure it was no, any kind of nipple exposure, any kind of anything like the train out. So I would just go out there, and a lot of times those people would fight me, and they'd be like, "You cannot do this," and I was like, "You're doing your job. I'm gonna do my job. Have security here waiting for me after this, but I am gonna ride this through because I want to make sure she's good." So I would grab extra gloss and a brush, and just go and the paparazzi they hate me. They'd be like, "Get out of the way," and hold on, like I'm gonna get you the picture you need.
yeah.
Um,
But now that's like
that's
what
like,
they do now.
but I didn't care how I look. If you notice, like sometimes I don't have time to get dressed. We're still working, so I would go to the Met, get there with cargos, a little T-shirt, a leather jacket, like, and not twice because it wasn't about me. It was her moment, and just wanted to make sure that she was good and everything was a-okay. So yeah.
Yeah, and how was the schedule back then? Like, how was your schedule when you're working a project with Beyonce or Destiny Child? Is it like a 24-hour type thing?
Yeah, it's always like it was, you had moments where you just going back to back to back. We would tour for, periods of time and then have to fly back for an award show and fly somewhere else for something else and still be on tour. Like It was nonstop. I still to this day don't know how I survived. 'Cause
Like, how did I do this?
still to this day, like, and I mean this in the most humblest way. Like, I'll be somewhere and they'll play like videos or like in a performance and stuff, and it's like it'll take me back to that place, and I'm just like, I don't know how I did this, like, because I didn't have like a lot of interns and
Yeah.
back then. It was literally just me and Miss Tina in the beginning, and then we added Raquel, and then it was just me and Raquel, you know. But there was moments where it was just me, and now I see stylists with like this huge army. I'm like, wow, this if I had that.
Right. Did you know at that time that you were creating you probably didn't have time to think, but did you know at that time you were creating memorable and iconic
No, because
look?
we were going. I started before social media. I
Yeah.
started for like the cell phone. Like we was Skyway two-way pages, you know. So we was just trying to make it happen before style.com, before Google. It was like I was using like, you know, what's the most expensive hotel here? Let me act like hi, I'm a guest in, you know, here in the hotel. I'm looking for dresses that like I would use the concierge. I would use like
Mhm.
I would carry a bag, phone book sometimes. You know,
Mhm.
trying to make it work. You had to be a little bit more. You had to really know how to style and use your talent.
Yeah. So how did you transition Beyonce from Destiny Child to her solo career? Was that something that you all thought out of the look, her look?
I just think it just kind of all happened organically. You know, we of course you have meetings and you put together mood boards and all that greatness, but it's just I just think everything just happened organically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna give you a question about who are some of your most iconic looks, just in general in pop culture, and do you have any favorite looks or celebrities from back in the day that
I
you
w- I love Diana Ross. Like Diana,
yeah,
I talk about this in my book. Diana Ross kind of gave me the fire and the passion as a little boy to want to fiend for glamour and
yeah,
women and dresses and gowns and hair and makeup, and the whole beauty part of it kind of stemmed from my dad taking me to a Diana Ross concert at a young age, and it just I was like, this is I want more of this, like because she had a round stage in Irwinson,
yeah,
the Texas. I was a kid, and that lady stayed on that stage and was like tearing off stuff and just making just these costumes and the hair and the furs and the feathers and all the madness, and I was just obsessed with it. So I would definitely say an all-star from Diana Ross. I had an obsession and a crush on Janet Jackson, so she just couldn't do nothing wrong for me. You know, Diane Cara, um, when she was on Dynasty, Dominique Devereaux,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
just to see strong black women in glamour and the light that was just far above, you know,
yeah,
beyond
yeah,
like my passion and fire as a kid growing up. Natalie Cole,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
different hair and makeup that she, you know, just wasn't afraid
Mhm.
to see a black woman in such a glamorous light was just so breathtaking to me as a child.
And
And
what's your personal look, like your personal aesthetic? Like, what's your look
I'm
that you got?
simplest, easiest. Like I will go to a Salvation Army and a Goodwill and
Yeah,
just go crazy and then mix it with like a high, you know, I
yeah,
love thrifting because I'm not trendy I don't like to go somewhere and somebody have on what I have on. I don't like
yeah,
the you know the new whatever that is by the designer, like everybody has to have it. I don't want it, and if I do get it, I'm very disrespectful. Like I just dress it all the way down as if it doesn't mean anything to me, which is kind of I've always been like that, which is crazy, but that's just my style. I like to just I don't think about it. I just kind
mhm.
of go with it and throw it together. I don't set my outfit up in advance. A day of I'm
It
very
it depends on
yeah.
yeah. So what I love about you is like you evolved into the next phase of your career, which is entrepreneurship, a designer. I love that's when started meeting you when you became entrepreneur. You started doing other things. So what was the evolution? Because you went into designing, and I remember other products you had, buying my tie light back then, which is perfect. Like, so what happened when you evolved into entrepreneurship or your next step?
When my daughter turned 21, I just realized a lot of things that I had missed family wise, and I just stepped away.
Hmm.
And because it was other things that I wanted to do and other goals, and if I would have went and did, I think I quit like after On the Run 1, and On the Run 2 was coming, and the Super Bowl. I didn't do the next Super Bowl.
Yeah,
It was just stepping out on faith, and I had to like kick fear, and because I'm like I've done this before, and I can do it again, and just believing in myself. And so I just there was so many other things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't do them if I was in the same space.
yeah,
So in order to grow and to just see what else is out there, and just to breathe, and just spend more time with family,
yeah.
and just rearrange my priorities. Um, that was a step I took. It was the hardest thing ever, but I did it, and I'm glad I did, because it really helped me to really learn more about myself, and just to become the best version of myself that I could possibly do. And so it was a learning curve too, because I also learned that you kind of learn who's there for you, because I
Yeah.
didn't I wasn't there no more.
Mhm.
I didn't. And so people just speculated that I got fired. People started treating me different. Showrooms started treating me different. Designers started treating me different. People
Mhm.
that I thought were friends were treating me different. And it was a very dark time, but it was such a blessing, because God kind of just cleared house for what's supposed to be there for you and what's meant for you. And it just really helped me to learn that you can be the nicest person on the earth and still have that kind of energy attached to you. And so it was a cleansing. It was the best thing ever. And God is so amazing, because 3 months later Beyonce asked me to style her for the Met Gala. So it was like, yes, I'm gonna style you. The latex number that Givenchy
All the
and Raquel, and I hadn't been working for her for over 3 months, and to just have that moment again, to let people know that this is gonna always be like, this is my family.
yeah,
She can call me right now and say she needs something. It's not just a work relationship.
yeah,
This is family. Like, we came up together,
yeah.
and so each girl always know that I'm forever there for them, indebted for the rest of my life. Miss Tina, all of them, I'm forever here for them. And it was just a good thing that had to happen to me. So I again tell people, sometimes things feel so dark and so like, I'm not going to get through, but those things are happening for a reason. So you just kind of have to sit in there and just say, what am I supposed to learn in these dark times? Because it gets better. And I am a living, walking testimony to that.
I love that. And I follow you on social media. And so if anybody does not, they need to follow Ty. It should be right there underneath. What you Ty try? What's the
Tytryone, Ty One. People think it's Ty Tyrone, and it should have been Ty Tyrone. But when I was when AIM had, like, I had put my name, and it started sending you other things, and I was like, Ty Try One, that's kind of cool, and I kept it, and that's
yeah.
came from. It came from Ty Try One.
But on his social media is always inspirational, motivational, funny. Like I mentioned before, you are the one of the most humblest, nicest person. So for me to come to you and you don't even know it, but just you're just approachable. So why is that important to you to be so nice or be so inspirational for other people?
Well, it's just it's so crazy, because a lot of times, people just seem like I'm a foreign object, but it's so easy for me to be nice and humble. Like, it's part of my DNA, I guess, because I'm from the South. But I love to put out what I want to receive, and it's that simple. I don't. It's no rocket science to it. It's just I treat people the way I want to be treated, and that seems to be hard for a lot of people, which I don't
I
understand.
know.
But it that's what's kept me afloat, and that's what's kept me in the game for over 2 decades, and that's what kept me. The blessings that come to me is just, it comes back around. It always comes back around.
Yeah. So you have this new book, which I was so excited when I saw you announce your book. I'm like, oh my God, I need to talk to Ty. And I'm glad I finally got you. The new book is called Makeover from Within. And it's a beautiful book. It looks beautiful. And it's supposed to be about, motivational, inspirational, some of your things that you've done, designer things, everything. What's the book about?
Yeah, it's my life. It's my life, and I talk about the different transitions, kind of a little bit what we talked about today, with a little extra stuff that's juicy, and but
Ooh,
my life, and it's it was an amazing journey because I've never been to therapy, and I've always been everybody else's therapist. Like everybody, and to be able to write this book with Isla, Mel, and to just really sit in that and just really, when you say things out loud and write them down, you really, it kind of just, where the dots connect. And it was just a beautiful journey. And I learned so much about myself in the process, and I learned so much about my family in the process, and I learned why certain moves were done in my family. And it's just, it's a beautiful, and I'm really, really excited to get this out. And I tell my story, and afterward I do these Thai takeaways, and kind of just, now
mhm.
that I sit back and told the story, I kind of like, okay, I went right. If you go left, even though I went right, I wouldn't change anything that I how my life is laid out. But if
Yeah.
I had to do things over again, how would I do them? And I kind of just kind of give that, and it's kind of give you the same energy of my social media, just motivate you to kind of get through certain processes. Me being a gay parent, me being shot before in both of my legs, me being in different situations, all of that is in the book. Different relationships, all of that is in the book.
All that's in the book.
And starting with Destiny's Child, everything is there. That's good.
People have to get the book. Please get the book, Ty Hunter's Makeover from Within. I want to make sure I get all the name. It's like Lessons in Hardship, Acceptance, and Self-Discovery. I love that. It's a beautiful book. So good from coming from Ty. So like we got it here on the screen. You can get it from anywhere, right? Amazon, everywhere.
Yes.
Let's get that book. And then, what would be some of your advice for young, not, people want to be a stylist. You guys made it so glamorous, but people don't know it's hard work, like you mentioned. What would be some of your advice for stylists coming up?
Okay. And also for my book, you can go to TyTry1.com.
Okay, I'll do it.
Um, Advice for stylists, I would definitely say just stick to your aesthetic and just go for it. People might not understand it, might not get it, but you have to just believe in yourself, and you're going to get a lot of no's. But when you get the yes, it's going to be the best. So you just got to believe in yourself. I'm a country boy from Texas who had a dream and a vision. Another thing is closed mouths don't get fed. And I know that saying, you hear it all the time, but I rather you take a chance on, you have the opportunity to lay everything out and meet some people, and make sure your social media page, if you're saying I'm a stylist, I need to be able to go to your page and see your work. Um, so if you don't have that going on, or a separate page to show your work, because a lot of people don't have that much time, you got to be able to have it right there and ready. And
Yeah,
so just work on that craft. And be it, if you don't have it, find a local photographer that needs pictures. Find a local muse or somebody that needs pictures, and you guys just get together and build substance together. Um, that's the only thing I have, and just
yeah,
really keep going, believe in yourself. Take social media breaks, because that would tell you down. If you find yourself getting down, take a social media break, because trust me, that has a lot to do with it. And quit comparing yourself to other people. Your journey will be at you, when you get to your destination. It will be time. That's the time you're supposed to be there. So just focus on yourself, better yourself, believe in your craft, learn it, and you'll make it.
yes, I love that. So what's next for Ty? What is next for you?
I have a lot of projects that I'm working on, thank God. I have bags coming out. I'm definitely working on other stuff that I just don't want to jinx. But yeah, a lot of stuff is coming. But definitely, if you guys just stay on my website, tytry1.com, announcements will be there, and also on my social media page as well.
Yes, please, people, get the book, Makeover from Within from Ty. I was thinking that if people bought the book, tagged me, Emerge on NYFW, I will give some free tickets to the show in September. So
Thank
people, please get the book to be able to get a chance to get 2 tickets for the show. And tag Ty, tag Emerge. You have to get the book. It's really good. Ty is super sweetheart, knowledgeable, iconic,
Thank you. And I'm
legendary.
just blessed, to be able to do this book. Beyonce wrote the forward,
Oh,
Billy Porter wrote the afterword. I have quotes from, I got my flowers, so that means so much to me to have the likes of, Jennifer Hudson, Kelly Osbourne, Naomi Campbell, Tashina Arnold, and many others just like come together and just tell me what I mean to them. And, it's that alone was enough to keep going and keep pushing. So, when you just being yourself and able to impact people the way, like I said, it seems so simple to me, and just me being myself, I just don't understand it. But, it is a blessing to be acknowledged for making someone feel seen and appreciated.
right. And you should also know that, we appreciate just the culture and just society. You're still young, but people, you
I'll
have,
be,
oh, how old you said?
I'll be 50 August 20th.
Oh my goodness. So, but you still young, but you have impacted an entire generation, and so that should mean a lot to you. How you impacted the style of just an entire generation throughout the years. So, we really appreciate you and celebrate you.
Thank
Good. Thank you so much, Ty. Hold on, don't hang up yet. But I just want to tell people thank you for joining today. And then make sure to subscribe to the Emerge Fashion Show NYFW YouTube as well as our Instagram page. So thank you so much.